Welcome to another episode of Mirami-histor-chi. That little dot right in the middle of the river right there is Sheldrick Island, and maybe we'll uncover some information about that place in future episodes. There's a story there, let me tell you. But I'm looking east right now into the bay that's going to be spanning out, that does go out into the Atlantic Ocean. It's abnormally mild temperatures here at the beginning of March. There should be much more snow on the ground. I really feel for those people that their livelihoods depend on a winter season. This has not been the season for them, let me tell you. And if the local paper was as thick as it used to be 25 years ago, I'm sure lots of stories would be about that. It has a nice mystique to it today, the old Miramichi River.
Just pause now again whenever.
Okay, I just pressed record. I've been hounding Uncle Raj here. So for those of you that have been watching the old welcome to Mirami-histor-chi. I love the tongue twister of that. Episode 11, and I'm getting lots of good responses here, Raj, from people from across the Miramichi, and they're enjoying it. I was speaking to a friend last night. He had a great laugh. And then, you know, I've been kind of hounding Raj. I've been coming over and saying, Raj, are we going to do another episode? And Raj, this man's busy, folks. This man he does not take a day off. So he opened up a folder. I said, let's go back as far as we can here of some of your collection. And again, the local historian, Roger Como, he has documented decades and decades of local history from the Miramichi and the surrounding areas via mostly newspaper clippings, brochures, magazines, pamphlets, anything that was interest to him. And here we are, but we opened up one today. We're not really prepared, so we're just going to wing it like we have been doing. We're having a good time here, Raj. I know I am. What about yourself?
Yeah, we're doing pretty good. We can show a program.
Oh yeah? We're going to start with it. We're going to start with a program?
A program right here on the official opening of the Centennial Bridge. You take
wow.
that and I'll get some
Okay.
photos ready here.
The official opening ceremony, Miramichi Centennial Bridge, Chatham, New Brunswick, September 30th, 1967. Look at what we're starting with. Wow. And then inside here, we have a picture of the bridge, which I think they're going to close this summer is what I heard. Project supervision, counseling, any names in here? South Approach. Wow, their official opening. So that bridge has been around since 1967, eh? The bridge is named the Miramichi Centennial Bridge, and a little pamphlet, and wow, Raj, and then we have it in French as well.
Yeah, so we have a little early work on it.
Oh, this is this. Oh, wow.
Just
So here's some early construction pictures from the bridge. Imagine that, eh? Like the engineering project, and it is one of the most iconic visions or you know, photos when we show the Miramichi. That bridge always comes into play.
And of course we had a mishap here. I don't know the year.
Oh yeah?
A ship hit
It
the
says
bridge.
June 27th, 1967, so this must have been in construction. A barge is seen placed.
That'd be on the Morrissey Bridge.
Oh, that's the Morrissey Bridge.
Yeah.
Under a damaged span of the Morrissey Bridge, spanning the Miramichi River in Newcastle. The span, so this is a barge hit the Morrissey Bridge in 1967. That Morrissey Bridge, for those of you people that remember when that was still operational, it barely fit two cars, and you'd be going across there, mirrors would be getting freaking smashed on both sides.
Yeah, well, see, this is where I went from the new Centennial Bridge. That's where I changed over to the Morrissey Bridge.
Oh, that is the Morrissey.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. Okay,
Okay.
sorry. So when I showed you guys this one, that's construction of the Morrissey Bridge.
Yeah.
Wow. And that was in 1914. Oh, wow, Raj.
Yeah, 14. And that's,
Wow.
That's when one of the ships that was docked at the Newcastle Wharf,
Yeah.
and it broke away and it floated up the river with the tide. That's what the damage it had done there at the time.
Oh, wow.
So-
Well, like, have you walked across it since they turned it into a walking bridge? I haven't even walked across it yet.
Oh yeah.
I was thinking of doing that there the other day.
Pretty well everybody did, I would
Mhm.
think. Okay, this is...
So Roger's looking through some stuff. As he's looking around, he pulled this out and just showed me this. This is not a newspaper clipping. This is a piece of like cardboardish material. And you see those little figurines? Well, he was practicing his signature, Roger. This is from the 1960s when Roger was a student. And it's kind of like this overhead shot, but look at the detail. So Roger was drawing figurines, hockey players. He has some action shots showing the puck being passed. And this particular, these drawings look like they're coming out of old Chicago Blackhawks, because I do recognize Pierre Pilote. I don't see any Bobby Hull. Ed Van Imp, Duff, Nielsen, wow, J.C. Tremblay. So there's Roger's artwork when he was a student.
So,
That's really cool.
So actually, all the things that are in this folder is everything.
Mm-hmm.
There's an awful lot of sports.
Yeah,
We've
no
been
problem.
we've been bypassing quite a bit of sports there.
Yeah.
So we try to focus it on.
Oh, well, there's Junior McDonald, too.
Yeah, Junior has it
Okay,
all.
so Roger has a photocopy of a newspaper clipping from 1966, okay? Anybody in the baseball world will know this man right here. This is Bucky Finlan. He was an umpire many, many years, and this is when Gordie Howe was in town. What was Gordie, emceeing a banquet or something like that?
Yep.
And Bucky meets Gordie Howe, and then I just saw a picture of Junior McDonald, right? He's a Logieviller. Junior was a great athlete growing up, a talented hockey player and softball player. So that's a great, that's great, Raj. Oh, your name's in this right here. Okay, I'll read something quick here. Around the Miramichi, this is from 1966. The North Shore Softball League opens in this area this weekend with Bathurst playing the Logieville Bisons. The Hawks, fresh from a split with the Campbellton team, the Hawks were the Bathurst team, this past weekend should provide the Bisons with their stiffest test so far this season. The Bisons are undefeated so far this season in 7 exhibition games. Roger Como, the local historian, and Stan Henniger couldn't come any closer to pitching a perfect game than they did against Sackville on Sunday. Only one runner reached base on a walk in the 6th inning. Who walked them, you or Stan? Stan, so Roger was perfect. So Stan Henniger, if you don't know, this is 1960s. Roger was a member of that Logieville Bisons team that went on to represent New Brunswick in the Senior Nationals in Saskatchewan, I think?
Yeah.
What year was that, 67, the year after this article. And then Stan Henniger, I think he was stationed at the base here. Stan Henniger?
Yeah,
So Stan Henniger was stationed at the base. He was a great pitcher. His son actually went on to really international softball fame. He became one of the top hitters in the world in the 80s and 90s, and a top pitcher as well.
Yeah,
Jody Henniger.
Yeah, Stan came to the Miramichi because there was softball here.
Oh, wow.
That's
why he wanted to get shipped here?
That's why he wanted to get shipped here.
Oh, wow.
That's another sports event here with broom ball in Chatham.
Broom ball trophies presented. Broom ball trophies were recently presented to the tops in the Broom Ball League in ceremonies at the Chatham Recreation Center, which I think is now Yvonne's gym. And here is a photo from 1969, July 16th. Here's a bunch of Miramichiers that were playing some broom ball. Some good-looking, handsome guys there. And for names that, we'll throw out a few names here. MLA Frank Kane. Okay, so Charlie Robichaud, he was the top scorer. Louis Milson. Merle Milson, Glenn Matchett, Mr. Kane, Ray Hawks, Lester Lewis, Art Flieger, Bob Bennett. Bobby Bennett and Art Flieger. There's Art Flieger right there, ladies and gentlemen. Art Flieger, I know Art from the softball community years ago. He's a great guy. Always a real good guy to run into and have a conversation with.
Yeah, well, in 1967, we had the Logieville celebration for
Centennial?
100 years, and these were some of the ladies that were in the Chatham area that were vying for. And
Okay.
That's part of the parade there.
Okay. So back in the day, parades were a much bigger. How you doing? You're a little bit off camera here. Maybe I'll switch this over. No, you're okay.
Yeah.
When you look over there.
Yeah.
So back in the day, I'll move over. Back in the day, in the 60s, 70s, parades were much more prominent. Okay, just a little bit more. Much more prominent in society. So when Canada turned 100 in 1967, there was parades and celebrations all over the country, and our community here in Miramichi was no exception. So there's some, and you know, that's when beauty pageants were at the top. And there's a float from the Logieville parade in the Centennial Parade. And to read some names here in that beauty pageant, Deborah Ann Grady, Miss James Park, Beth Curry, Eleanor Scott, Curtis Park, Miss Curtis Park, they didn't even say her name, Astrid Adams, and Miss Chatham High School, Karen Scales, Miss St. Andrews School, Miss Scott was chosen queen. Once again, there's a look at our pretty ladies from the Miramichi in the 1967 Centennial. And look at this float right here, folks. People took time. They came together as a community. They got out. They hung out with each other. And yeah, and I can notice my Uncle Dennis right here, Roger's brother, who passed away in 69?
Yeah.
69 in a car accident. So I see him sitting on that float.
So there's the opening of our ceremonies there. The ribbon
Okay.
cutting.
This is from this is the opening for the Logieville Centennial Party ceremonies. There's Junior McDonald back there. Bob, Jack Esty in Logieville. Jack B. Esty.
Yeah.
Resident of Nova Scotia, cut the ribbon to officially former resident of Logieville, sorry,
Yeah.
to officially opening Centennial Week activities in the lively little village. That left is Junior McDonald, a member of the Logieville Community Center. And one more thing, last episode I was talking about the Ironman winning coming in third in the 99 Nationals.
Yeah.
And in my speaking I said Mike Dunnett. There's Mike Dunnett. I said pitcher catcher. No, he was a pitcher shortstop. Sorry, I went when I was watching that. I made a mistake. I know damn well he's a shortstop.
So here's the beauties again, Miss Chatham and Miss Logieville.
Oh, I noticed Miss Logieville. Here is some 1967 Centennial parties in the Miramichi. There's Miss Chatham. And there is Miss Logieville, folks. And if we were to mention some names, Chatham Mayor J. Robert Martin poses with Miss Eleanor Scott, successful entrant in the Miss Chatham Centennial Queen Contest. She won, and in Logieville Mayor Peter G. McLean is shown with Miss Doris Cummo, who was judged the Queen of the Logieville Centennial Year celebrations. And you know, little village like Logieville, this woman here wins. What do you do after you win that? You're walking around Logieville. Are you just thinking that you're the queen of Logieville?
Yeah.
Are you just thinking you're the queen of Logieville? Hey, while Roger's getting ready, we have a new sponsor here, folks, on the show. This is one of the works from Miss Amanda Cummo, who happens to be the daughter of Raj, the first cousin of me. And Amanda was a fine arts student at Mount Allison, is multi-talented in so many aspects of in the art world, from painting, the sculpture, to I could actually go on drawing. She just has a really good eye. This is one of two. It's a bookmark that she made, and I would say that's a bronze sculpture. Eh?
Yeah.
I would say it's bronze. And I think she called it Fat Bottom Girls or Big Bottom Girls or something like that. But it's a gorgeous one of the bookmarks. I really like it, and I see the excellent work there. And we'll have later on. So if you're wondering how a young woman like Amanda, who does work up at the hospital as a nurse, is able to sponsor a show as large and as important as this, well, this is how she does it.
Yeah.
She does it by just being an excellent daughter to Raj and an excellent citizen in the Miramichi, and we're always going to show her work here. That's how you do it. Thanks, Amanda.
So we have some centennial winners of certain events in the Chatham Centennial Week competitions.
Okay.
So I started here left to right there.
Okay. Okay. So Centennial winners. Look at the old top hats. They're going, and I'll mention some names here. Centennial winners pictured above. Okay, so we got Andrew Kane, prize for best horse and carriage. Robert McDonald, best decorated store. Don Holt, best float. Miss Marjorie Ann Cook, best decorated bicycle. Miss Carol Daly, best float. Miss Marjorie Ann Cook, best decorated car. Lynn Smith, best decorated house. So people, so Raj, you must remember very well when all these celebrations were going. It must have been an exciting time.
Oh my gosh.
Festivals and parades and parties everywhere, I'm sure.
You just couldn't be everywhere at the same time.
Right. And that's back in the day when most people were sticking more closely knit to their own smaller communities. The Miramichi's amalgamated in the 90s there, and I don't know, I forget how many little municipalities came together, like Chatham and Newcastle being the biggest, but you know, we still, Miramichi still call, like, you know, we still call this Logieville, you know, but you know, it's all part of the Miramichi city. Douglastown and Taintville and Chatham and Nordine and Chatham Head, and is Nelson a part of this? I think so. It shows my ignorance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to have a little article here on Adler Hashi.
Okay, who's Adler Hashi now?
Oh, he's a renowned person in Chatham years ago.
Okay.
And he used to have a popular store.
Okay.
Hashi's there.
This is Mr. Hashi sitting as an entrepreneur doing his books. He had a store. This looks like Water Street to me.
Oh yeah, right there.
Right down on Water Street. And this is from 1969, April 30th. Hashi's Corner, Water Street, Chatham.
Yeah, they're announcing changes there
Okay.
now.
So
it's purchased by the Hashi family. Sold it to William Hogan.
Okay,
And
purchased by
apparently
William.
he also owned the Big Spot, and was also purchased by Joseph
Yvonne. Hashi Brothers Limited Chatham announces the following changes in proprietorship effective May 1st. Hashi's Retail, Newsstand, Tobaccos, Confectionery, etc. 324 Water Street has been purchased by William A. Hogan. Bill Hogan. Is he the artist?
Yeah.
The Big Spot has been acquired by Joseph. The Big Spot was down on the corner where you used to get ice cream.
Yeah, right under the bridge.
Right under the bridge.
Yeah,
I remember where the Chatham Market is now. Oh, that's cool. So where was Hashi's store? That's on what side of the... is that where the drugstore is now?
It's right across from the...
Nap and Bakery?
The post office here on Water Street, the big stone building.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Right on the corner.
Yeah, right on.
Same side as walking up towards
So
the
that's
bank.
that's really cool, Raj.
The bank.
That's really cool. Oh, what do we got here now?
Okay. This seems to be a pretty
I can hold this up for you if you want to talk about it.
popular photo that Dewey produced here quite a while ago, and I do think I got the first one in the contest, as my name was picked out of the box to get it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, you won.
Yeah.
Is this the photo itself?
Oh yeah.
Oh, this is the original print, boys. Roger and girls. Roger Como wins it.
Yeah, because Chuck, they said the photographers went down to Nova Scotia to learn to do coloring.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So anyway, this photo here, is a former bridge in Logieville, and a lot of people that have this, they don't know who the people are in the photo. So in this photo, walking up under the bridge is my brother Dennis.
Yeah.
and my Uncle Rennie.
Okay.
Dennis and Rennie are the same age. And the fine young lady is Jean Harrison. And Dennis and Jean were kind of chumming at the time. And Jean's sister is the lead lady up coming up the hill with their horses that they own.
Walking the horse. It's a great photo, Raj.
So
I actually have a copy in my place in
Yeah,
Vancouver.
so anybody that has that photo, if they had a pencil or a pen, and write down the name so they'll know who to write on the back of their photo, so they'll know who these people are.
Dennis Como, Rennie Como, Jean Harrison, and Jean's sister. Do you remember her name?
Judy.
Judy. So right there, that's the covered bridge going right at Black Brook. The St. Andrews Cemetery is... I got to get my bearings here. The St. Andrews Cemetery is right here. And if you want to go visit Darren McCormick, his house is right on this side over here.
So the last little message from this photo is right at the bridge site after the bridge was torn down. A year or two after, Dennis and Jean and James and Belle drowned right at that bridge site. And of course, they're buried. They're buried over at the cemetery.
They're buried over right at that cemetery. They're all buried at the same
All
headstone.
three of them,
And if you're wondering how they drowned, they were driving in a vehicle at nighttime, and it went off the road into the water, and they could not get out. So it's a really great photo as I look at this closely, and it's a sad story, right? But you know, the old covered bridges, Raj. There's not like it's really cool when you get when you're out for a drive in New Brunswick countryside and you get to see like a restored covered bridge, isn't it?
I have a pretty big collection on all the bridges in New Brunswick, newspaper clippings.
Oh wow!
Plus a couple of books on them.
Oh, I'm sure you do.
That's in another envelope.
Well, that'll be 2 years down the road in episode number 123 of Mirami-histor-chi.
Yeah. So they're drowning. Basically, was a result of a very, very heavy foggy night.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
It was a foggy night, yeah.
Okay, it might be a pause or whatever.
Oh yeah, that's okay. What else do we got here? We have and speaking of that drowning and that bridge, here is a photo, here is a clipping from July 1969. This is shortly after that accident. And, you know, when 3 young people die in a community, this ball game right here was played. Shown above are the opening ceremonies at CFB Chatham, as teams and spectators alike observe a minute of silence in respect to the 2 recently deceased Logieville ball players, James LaBelle and Dennis Como, Raj's brother. And Dennis was a shortstop, eh?
Yeah.
He was a shortstop, tall, lanky, left-handed hitter?
Yeah.
Yeah, left-handed hitter, and so that ball game was an honor. And here's a photo right here of that game. There's an action shot of a softball game. That was from Gagetown runner Chuck Drummond, streaking towards first base as Roger Arsenault awaits the throw. And here is a Zone 7 Fastball Champions 1969, the CFB Chatham Golden Hawks. Of this squad right here. Let's see if anybody out there can recognize any of those guys. And I will mention their roster. We got Corporal Frank Shepard. He was the coach. Private Terry Tompkins. Des Desaulniers. Roger Arsenault. Wes Cray. Lorne Perkin. Joe Klein, Earl Morris, Jim Craik. Was Earl Morris a local boy?
No.
Okay. Roy Jacquard, Art Cromwell, Kevin Chase, Jim Braden, Seth Mosher, and Daryl Babineau. So there, you know, that was just an example of the Air Force Base that was in Chatham. We had so many people roll through our community that never really would have been here otherwise. So we had people from all over Canada come here.
Yeah, so during Junior MacDonald's reign here as the mayor of Logieville,
Okay.
we're going to just show how the leader produced a big double-page history of Logieville.
Okay, so Junior MacDonald, a well-known Logieviller, Used to be the mayor of this little community. And this paper, this is a paper from 1975. April 9th, 1975. The paper, you can't really tell there, but it was so much wider. And they just did a little story. Logieville, still a good place to live. And there's a photo right there of, I have to read this.
Oh, that's the mill years
Oh
ago
yeah, a view of the log boom and wharf with mills in operation at the height of prosperity in Logieville. And you know, it's a great photo. And it's a 2-page, like a full double-page article on
We
Logieville.
have an aerial view of the ball fields.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's an aerial view of our little community. You can see the ball fields are kind of the things that are the easiest to distinguish. And my dad has a copy of that in color hanging in his little workshop over at our place. And there's a couple of, oh, there's the construction of the rec center, eh? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So there's a construction, there's an early shot of the Logieville Rec Center, which is home to the Miramichi's top cornhole evening on Friday nights over there now. There's a picture of the beach. Where is that beach? Is that Manderson's? Sorry guys. Yeah, Manderson's Beach down by the old campground. Which is a shame that's, if I had $1 million, I'd buy that place and get her all rejuvenated. And there's 2 prominent Logievillers right there. We got Parker, or sorry, is that Peter or Parker?
Parker.
That's Parker Manderson
And Junior.
Junior McDonald. And you know, as a side note, Roger's daughter Amanda purchased Parker's old home and restored it, and it's an unbelievable interior in there now. The work that they did, they restored a lot of the old trim work, a lot of the stairing, like I don't really know the details, but then Amanda has such an eye for detail. It's an unbelievable, lots of antique pieces in there. It is really, really a stylish place.
So it went from the Manderson house to the Amanda house.
Amandason House.
This is
I
just part
gotcha.
of the collection, just showing 100 years of progress in New Brunswick. You don't have to deal
Okay,
with.
here's just a little pamphlet. This came out in 1967. 100 Years of Progress in New Brunswick. This would be a really interesting thing to be able to go through. It's its own little publication here, folks. Another example of what Raj. Here's just an example. The first picture is a picture of the Moncton Fire Department from 1891. This is on the back. Laying first submarine cable in North America, November 22nd, 1852, from Cape Tormentine to Carlton Head, Prince Edward Island. That's the middle photo. And the bottom photo says, Franco-American Committee as part of delegation from France to celebrate 400th anniversary of Jacques Cartier discovering America. It doesn't say where that photo was taken, but just another example. It'd be really interesting. The amount of time it would take to actually go through the things that this man has, and it's amazing. So thanks, Raj, for sharing that. And Raj is kind of in and out of the camera because he's just he's checking things out over on his table there and passing them over. What do you got there now? French Fort Cove, master plan. So this is from November.
Yeah, but that's away.
Oh yeah,
a long time ago.
Right. So the French Fort Cove was a quarry. They were quarrying. I'm assuming it was limestone.
Yeah.
Limestone. For what, mostly local building projects?
Yeah, there, and some of it was taken away by boat.
Some of it was being shipped out.
Yeah.
And so if you go for a walk through the French Fort Cove, there's a photo of some old school French Fort Cove photos. And if you go for a walk there now, they changed it into kind of hiking trails, and it's a beautiful little municipal park. I love walking around there, and you know, it has kind of levels for everybody.
Well, now we're going to do two photos, two versions of St. Margaret's.
St. Margaret's. Also, what was St. Margaret's? Was they had a like they were like kind of a continuation onto CFB Chatham, the Air Force Base.
Yeah, it was a radar base.
They had a radar base out in St. Margaret's, which is just a little bit to the south. And here's an aerial shot of that. And if okay, so anybody that kind of knows about St. Margaret's, this right here is the clubhouse to the golf course, and that's the golf course back here, which for those people that are just kind of like, it's kind of a great beginning golf course. That's where I started doing my practice sessions, and I liked it out there. So St. Margaret's, right on. I never saw it in all its glory like that.
Oh, there's a better review there.
And there, ladies and gentlemen, okay, so the clubhouse, that's a golf course there.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a color shot of this in the fall of the year. The foliage is just starting to take shape in our part of the world, and this is the golf course back there. It's a little 9-hole golf course, and I think Raj just said they got new owners, and hopefully they can kind of resurrect it and make it a good little destination to go shoot a couple of rounds.
Mm-hmm.
I like the 9-hole once in a while. You go out and you just don't feel like doing a full 18. You go practice some shots, and yeah. Well, thanks, Raj.
Okay.
What do we got here?
Well, that's nothing there.
Oh yeah, that's a cool little photo from 1969. What's that?
She's a renowned piano instructor.
Oh yeah?
Gertha Logie.
Gertha Logie, a renowned piano instructor, and here's some of her students from 1969, and I can mention a few names in there. We have some pupils of Miss Gertha Logie, Joan Daly, Robert Ross, Heather Cameron, Karen Robishaw, Mary Ross, Fred Martin, Linda Robishaw, Margaret Savoy, that's Roger's wife, the late wife, Sheila Dixon, Agnes Jenkins, and Wendy Daly. Wendy Daly, a Hall of Famer in the New Brunswick softball world as a pitcher. And there she is right there, folks. That's a great thing to share, Raj. And here's a picture from the graduating class from 1969 at Harkins Academy. And there's a large graduating class right there. And this is the original newspaper clipping. My father happens to be a member of that class, as does Mr. David Adams Richards, the great Miramichi artist, writer, thinker, and fisherman. Excellent. And in 1969, Tulip margarine, a 4-pound package, was going to cost you 89 cents. Okay, so are you kind of...
Yeah, we got a little timeout.
Little timeout. So just before we do a timeout, we're going to bring you another word from our sponsor. You guys met our first sponsor, I think, on the last episode, Mr. Corey Wishart. Well, here's another item from Corey Wishart, folks. And if you're looking how to get in touch with Corey Wishart, all you got to do is walk down any street in the Miramichi and say, do you know Corey Wishart? And somebody's going to know him. So we have this is one of his most recent wish works, he calls it. And so if you're looking to get some wish works from the Core store, you just walk down any street in Miramichi and say, do you know Corey Wishart? And somebody will know him. And this is one of his latest, and it's his lunchbox that he just made.
Show him the hinge on the back.
Oh yeah, beautiful, beautiful work. And he's made his own wooden hinges back there, folks. Look at this. And if I open this up, we take a look inside. He's got some leather on the handle there as well. And we open this up. Beautiful, beautiful interior. His thermos can fit in there. And I was asking Corey what kind of wood this was. I think he said it was an ash. And I asked him how much a 6-foot board cost. And we estimated it at around $80 or something like that. So if he takes a plank of that, $80, $90, puts all his time and effort into it, it would be a great gift for somebody to get for their uncle, husband, wife, whatever it is. But you know, you're not going to get it for $27.99 at the local Walmart. This is a craftsman doing his work. It's beautiful work. And if you're also wondering how a guy like Corey Wishart can sponsor a show like this, a high roll and show like this, well, he just does it by being the best brother-in-law one man could ever ask for.
Well, he also makes urns.
Urns as well. We're gonna show an urn
Yeah.
on one of these episodes. Like his work, Wishworks at the core store.
Maybe somebody wants that wooden lunch can for an urn.
Yeah, maybe so. So we're going to take a little pause. We have been going through some of Roger's later newspaper clippings. And we're going to go grab a little drink here, tea that is, maybe a little coffee. And once again, we thank the local historian for all of this collection of stuff. Okay, we had a little break. We had to go through some old papers here. And, you know, I think that anybody that's watching this knows that me and Roger just casually going through some stuff. We're not claiming to be any experts or anything like that. But we do have a local historian, Raj, who's been mostly off camera in this episode as he's kind of looking through some stuff as we figure this out. But look at this photo here. This is pretty cool. We are June 21st, 1967. Look at the photo right here. Look at this right here. Look at that handsome young guy signing this book right now. Now, anybody, and then this is our notable Miramichi right here, but the guy that's sitting down, anybody that's a fan of hockey knows that that guy there is in the discussion for being one of the greatest hockey players of all time. It is, you know, you can't, it's very subjective, of course. That is Mr. Bobby Orr. Bobby Orr signs the guest book at the town hall in Chatham prior to being the guest speaker at the Chatham Recreation Council's annual banquet held at the exhibition building. In the photo left to right, Bernard Flam, he was the CRC president, Mayor W.J. Kerr, Bobby Orr, and Peter Nevin, who played with Bobby with the Oshawa Generals and Junior. And Peter lives close to here now. He is still scouting in the NHL. I think he scouts for the Blackhawks. I think he's a Chicago Blackhawks scout. Yeah. And Peter was a big member of our hockey community around here for many years.
He's got some Stanley Cup rings.
Yeah? Oh, right on. So look at that right there. I didn't know Peter Nevin has Stanley Cup rings. Are you sure about that?
Oh, yes. He
as a scout?
Well, he's part of the
Chicago.
Part of the organization.
Yeah. Look there, Bobby Orr and Peter Nevin, folks, in Chatham. And then as I was looking at that photo, there was an article right below it. Ironman Victors. This is from 1967. Home run power supplied by John Lorden, Ken Cripps, and Richard Cuffy McLaughlin. Cuffy was the old police officer. Powered Miramichi Valley Baseball League, leading Chatham Ironman to a 13-10 victory over Douglastown. So there's three names that sports fans on the river would remember. So that's really cool, Raj, to have a paper from 1967. And look at the shape of it. It's mint condition. Roger Como, the local historian, has collected this stuff in mint condition. Here's a photo here. I don't have any names for you, but it's a remembrance program. Oh, we got a phone ringing. Roger's going to take care of that. I'm just going to keep moving here. This says Remembrance Program. Students of grades 6A and 6B at St. Mary's Academy, Newcastle, presented a Remembrance Day program at the school on Friday afternoon, November 10th. The children taking part are shown above with teachers Mrs. Thomas T. Flynn, principal, and Miss Carolyn Gunn. And, you know, times were so different. Remembrance Day. There's a group of students from St. Mary's School in Newcastle putting on a Remembrance Day show and a Remembrance Day parade. And again, times were so different back then, and the care that people put into doing events and getting together in a community was very different. Here's another something else from November 22nd, 1967, okay? This is at CFB Chatham, the old Air Force Base. And I'm not going to go through and read, but I'm just going to show you how times were different. And this is an event, this is like a Grey Cup day at CFB. And look at what they did just to celebrate Canada's football championship. There was parades. This is 1967. There was parades. She was the Grey Cup queen. They had a game of football. And these are, there were little kids dressed as clowns. It was just a big day, and these are the guys that had the football game. And they all most likely would have sat around and watched the game. It doesn't say who won, who lost, or what went on, but wow. Wow, how times have changed. Okay, I think I gotta pause this and get ready for another article.
I only know him and Wilford. I know Wilford and Brian. Shit, what the hell is his name? Brian.
They won 28 games of 33 played. So, folks, this local historian here, Roger Como, it's when I came over here last week, the filing cabinet that I showed you guys on the first video, I thought everything was in there, and he opened up a cupboard a few days ago and showed me a whole other slew of info. So we have more than we can actually tackle. So Raj, we're gonna do another 10 minutes here maybe. Here's a photo from November 22nd, 1967. Look, okay, there's the photo, little ceremonial face-off, okay, and there's a notable in here. Chatham Recreation Council President, Clyne Cassidy, C-L-Y-N-E. Now there's a name, like those names like that, that's like a good old name. Clyne Cassidy drops the puck to officially open the 67-68 minor hockey program in Chatham. On hand for the opening play were Chatham Mayor J. Robert Martin and Charles Sprague. Now the players are Wayne Crocker. He's the Wayne Crocker. And on right here, so this is Wayne Crocker, and the other player, ladies and gentlemen, is none other than the Miramichi's Greg Malone, of the Malone family. Now Greg played a long professional career. He was with Pittsburgh Penguins, he was with the Quebec Nordiques, the Hartford Whalers, and I actually might be missing a team, and I'm sorry about that, Greg. But I do know he scored 35 goals one year and was a very solid player. So there's a real cool shot of Greg Malone as a youngster taking a face-off. And that comes to you because Roger Como, the local historian, saved it. And here's just here's an advertisement for used cars. A used car sale, and I'll just read a couple of the prices out. A 1964 Pontiac, this is from 1967, so it was just 3 years old. A 1964 Pontiac 4-door sedan, 6-cylinder, standard transmission, red with a white top. The 60s cars were so much nicer looking. Good condition. It was $1,550. It is now $1,425. And one more, how about a 1963 Chevy 2 station wagon, 6-cylinder engine, standard transmission, color red. It is now $895, folks. So if you want to go to the Logie's pre-inventory used car sale, 1967, those are some of the prices. And one more from the newspaper from 1964. It's just this whole section, Miramichi citizens to honor veterans of 4 wars. There's all of the names of the veterans. I'm, for one, take my Remembrance Day and Poppy ceremonies very serious. This whole paper is dedicated to honoring those that fought for their country. There's an advertisement of a hand holding up a poppy, and that's from a local business, Bernie's Sports Shop on Water Street. Do you remember Bernie's Sports Shop, Raj? That was a business back in the 60s. Russell's Cleaners was another one. And I'm just looking through this really quick here. They just have a lot of photos of war, like remembrance and stuff like that. Wear a poppy, etc., etc. But it just shows how serious they took that. So those are the papers, Raj. You have one more right here. Don't really. No, that was just off to the side. Now Raj was just back there at break, pulling out some more things from the 60s. And what do you got for us here?
Oh, we got a young team here. Right. Oh, there's Ian Flieger. I have to show him that. I didn't know he played Bevy Stymus.
Bev Stymus.
Walter McCarthy there.
Walter McCarthy.
That's Malone here.
Oh, that's Greg?
Right, that's
Oh, wow.
Mirami.
Yeah, Greg Malone.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's a photo. Chatham Pee Wee A 67-68. They were the provincial champions. And look at those young guys. That's a great looking photo. 1960s. Look at that. A bunch of kids playing hockey. No masks. No mouth guards. And, you know, front row, Ricky Williston, Ian Flieger, David Rogers, Marvin McCarthy was the coach, had him as a teacher. Greg Malone, he looked like he was the star player, of course. Grant Morgan, John McDougall, Gary Bernard. And we have Randy Deeves, Roger Blanchard, Lyle Whitty, Bev Stymus, Walter McCarthy, Larry Creamer, Randy Shepard, Chris Brown, Claude Power, Paul Boucher, and Barry Brennan. They were the Pee Wee provincial champs in 67-68. Thanks for saving that one, Raj.
Okay, we're going to take a little trip down to Bay St. Anne.
Bay St.
Back
Anne.
in 69. Well, this Bay St. Anne hockey team, they played 33 games, and they only lost 5.
Oh, wow.
So,
Wonder what year.
player of no 69 was
Okay.
so Flavian Daigle right here
Okay.
in Taintville,
Yeah.
one renowned, and there's a few other lads that you'll know here.
Okay.
Brian Lloyd and Wilford
Okay.
Adams there, and a few more there. The lads
I'll
you'll
show
know.
that up, Raj.
Okay.
So a Bay St. Anne team. I don't think it says their age. We know Flavian Daigle is right here. Flavian Daigle lives in Taintville. That's him right there. So this team, St. Anne Tigers, Bay St. Anne. Members of the team, Alban Mazeral, Alphonse Turbide, Alban Daigle, Ludovic Manuel, Robert Manuel, Lee Gregan was the coach, Julian Manuel, Flavian Daigle. Back row, Billy Thibodeau, Emilienne Daigle, Emerald Manuel, Fernand Durrell, Mark Terrio, Brian Lloyd, Ronald Manuel, Wilford Adams. Right on, that's a great photo.
Okay, we got basketball here from Newcastle 60s that won a senior B.
1960 Newcastle Senior B New Brunswick champions in basketball. Now look at this group of players right there. There's a Miramichi sports team. Anybody on this that we know? Donnie Grant, Pat Chambers, Ian Anderson, Frank Galley, and Ross Nevin. Tom Gallivan, Paul Young, Ray Burns, Don Chambers, Aubrey Beers, and Euless Gallant. Right on. That's cool.
Okay, so you picked this here up here. The trophies were awarded to these young athletes.
Okay. 1965 Miramichi Press. 5 boys were presented trophies awarded to their teams. Gerald Gallant, John Walls, Kevin Dunn, Laurie Gregan, and Reg Trevors. And these were the midget baseball trophies. So there was a group of young boys in the paper being awarded some hardware for the baseball season. Right on.
So you picked this here photo up here.
Yeah, I just like the look of it.
It's a house league, and they're well dressed. They all
Oh
all
yeah,
in uniform.
1962 Newcastle. Roger had a folder over there with just sports teams from the 60s, so we just thought we'd close that way. 1962 Newcastle Athletics House League team. Just look at this photo. Like there's no other sport that just has team photos that are just better than baseball. Bunch of boys getting dirty, ripping their getting grass stains on their pants, getting outside, playing some baseball. You know, you always got your catcher, you always got your little bat boy out front. I can quickly read the roster here. We got Fred Haining, Jim Svark, Jim Kane, Wayne Ryan, Lee Johnson, Norman Delano, John Samara, Tom Gallivan. Front, Jimmy Dalton, Ray Carew, no relation to Rod, Jerry Tower, Don O'Neill, George Blackney, and Junior Bowes was the bat boy. Great photo.
So here's a photo here that shows the signs of victory.
The signs of victory. Left to right, Peter Nevin, Lou Walsh, John Breen, Chatham Recreation Council. Look at those cool jerseys. And there's just a good trio of young Miramichi boys playing some hockey. Peter Nevin went on to play some high caliber junior stuff with Bobby Orr, as we previously mentioned. And it's just a great photo of some boys playing some hockey.
Okay, this is this is a photo here of the first time I ever played organized hockey in Chatham.
Okay,
Right.
so this is Roger's first
Yeah.
ever team photo, first ever team he played in an organized group.
Yeah. So because the junior, the organization in the juvenile league in Chatham asked Junior if he could foster up a team of players from Logieville.
Junior McDonald.
And if you don't have enough players, we'll give you some players from Chatham.
Okay.
So as it turned out, I told Junior, I said, well, I won't be able to play. He said, why not? I said, I don't have any equipment and I'm not hitchhiking.
Right.
Well, he said, you can wear my equipment and you can come to town with me.
Oh, wow.
And in regards to the equipment, I thought it worked out all right because we both weighed 99 pounds, so that would work out.
Oh, right on, Raj.
So the Chatham guys are,
Okay.
know, Eddie and
Yeah, we'll read them out.
Earl Hanna.
This is
Dougie
1964,
Brower.
the Chatham Juvenile League. This is a Logieville team coached by Junior McDonald, none other than Raj. And this frame was a sheet metal project by Raj. Raj made his own frame. Now look at this group right here, folks. There's a little glare there. There's a hockey photo from there's Raj right there with the helmet on. Sorry for the glare. And we'll end this session by saying Eddie McDermott was on this team. Roger Cummo, Paul McLean, Dax and Dean's father, Peter McLean, we call him Turtle here in Logieville, Dougie Bro, and Joe Langtang, a great ball player, Bill Daly, old former teacher, Jimmy Hay, Eddie Russell, Alan Irving, also a former teacher, James LaBelle, we just mentioned, he's the same guy that died in the car accident with Roger's brother Dennis, Harold Hanna, and the coach was Junior McDonald, and Raj is a centerman. We'll get into some Roger Cummo hockey stuff. Roger's a former scoring champion on the river here. He's a centerman, folks. Great photo. And Raj, once again, thanks for taking your time out here in your busy schedule. You're at a dance every night. You're everybody in the neighborhood always comes to Raj. One of our breaks here, we just got interrupted a little bit. Not interrupted, we don't care. But it was our neighbor Clarence, and he needed a little sheet of drywall. He was patching a hole, and he couldn't find anything over in his shed. And of course, Roger saves everything and has things, and people are always coming to him in the neighborhood. And he's a busy guy, and he's our local historian. And thanks again, Raj, for having me down in your basement. And we're gonna have to get to work if we're gonna get through all of your stuff, because this is a lot of stuff. Okay? I think that's good, eh?
Yeah, we had a good session today.
Yeah, good session. So thanks for listening, guys, and have a good one.